everyone. This is Reverend Lynn LaBorde coming to you with the Course in Miracles lessons. I'm reading the lessons for an entire year, channeling Mary Magdalene. And today we're on lesson number 70. My salvation comes from me. All temptation is nothing more than some form of the basic temptation, not to believe the idea for today. Salvation seems to come from anywhere except from you. So too does the source of guilt. You see neither guilt nor salvation as in your own mind and nowhere else. When you have realized that all guilt is solely an invention of your mind, you will also realize that guilt and salvation must be together in the same place. In understanding this, you are saved. The seeming cost of accepting today's idea is this. It means that nothing outside yourself can save you. Nothing outside yourself can give you peace. But it also means that nothing outside yourself can hurt you or disturb your peace or upset you in any way. Today's idea places you in charge of the universe, where you belong, because of who you are. This is not a role which can be partially accepted, and you must surely begin to see that accepting it is salvation. It may not, however, be clear to you why the recognition that guilt is in your own mind entails the realization that salvation is there as well. God would not have put the remedy for sickness where it cannot help. That is the way your mind has worked, but hardly his. He wants you to be healed, so he has kept the source of healing where the need for healing lies. You have tried to do just the opposite, making every attempt, however distorted and fantastic it might be, to separate healing from the sickness for which it was intended, and thus to keep the sickness. Your purpose was to ensure that healing did not occur. God's purpose was to ensure that it did. Today we will practice realizing that God's will and ours are really the same in this. He wants us to be healed, and we do not really want to be sick because it makes us unhappy. Therefore, in accepting the idea for today, we are in agreement with God. He does not want us to be sick, neither do we. He wants us to be healed, so do we. We are ready for 2 longer practice periods today, each of which should last some 10 to 15 minutes. We will, however, still let you decide when to undertake them. We will follow this practice for a number of lessons, and it would again be well to decide in advance when would be a good time to lay aside for each of them and adhere to your own decisions as closely as possible. Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today and adding a statement signifying your recognition that salvation comes from nothing outside of you. You might put it this way. My salvation comes from me. It cannot come from anywhere else. Then devote a few minutes with your eyes closed to reviewing some of the external places where you have looked in the past, in other people, in possessions, in various situations and events, and in self-concepts which you sought to make real. Recognize that it was not there and tell yourself, my salvation cannot come from any of these things. My salvation comes from me and only me. Now we will try again to reach the light in you, which is where your salvation is. You cannot find it in the clouds that surround the light. It is in them. You have been looking for it. It is not there. It is the past. It is past the clouds and in the light beyond. Remember that you will have to go through the clouds before you can reach the light. Remember also that you never found anything in the cloud patterns you imagined that endured or that you wanted. Since all illusions of salvation have failed you, surely you do not want to remain in the clouds, looking vainly for idols there, when you could so easily walk into the light of real salvation. Try to pass the clouds by whatever means appeal to you. If it helps you, think of me holding your hand and leading you, and I assure you, this will be no idle fantasy. For the short and frequent practice periods today, remind yourself that your salvation comes from you, and nothing but your own thoughts can hamper your progress. You are free from all external interference. You are in charge of your salvation. You are in charge of the salvation of the world. Say then, my salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can hold me back. Within me is the world's salvation and my own. So lesson number 70 is my salvation comes from me. Okay. Let's see what Magdalene has to say about this today. Greetings, beloved ones. Our salvation is a choice that we make. Our salvation is the way in which we choose to decide to view life with love, with forgiveness. When you believe that your salvation exists outside of you, you feel it the effect of the circumstances of the world. You are looking for and seeking for solutions that exist outside of what you consider yourself to be. When you make a shift in consciousness, beloved ones, to understand that your salvation does indeed come from within you, you may pause to wonder, what is it within me that would grant me my salvation? And then you come upon a place of home within you, a place of love within you, a place where God exists, that is within you, that always has been and always will be. And you grant yourself forgiveness for ever having forgotten. You grant yourself self-love, and all that you look upon and all that exists is worthy of your forgiveness. And in that moment of forgiveness, beloveds, salvation is truly granted. So understand that your salvation does come from within you. And every thought that you have that distracts you from the truth, it is merely like a cloud that floats by in your imagination. And allow it to continue to go, beloveds. Allow it to continue to move on. And in that prescient moment of clarity, allow yourself to know that where you are, God is. God is the embodiment of all that you truly are, and all of the illusion, all that is fake. It falls to the wayside. The anger, the sadness, the fears, the beliefs, the imaginings that you have created are merely a distraction. And it is time, beloved ones, for the truth to be told. For when you know that your salvation comes from you and not from anything external to you, you shall look inside and you shall find the place where it exists. And there you too shall find your freedom. For your freedom comes in allowing yourself to think with the mind of God as you reach out to the Holy Spirit. You will come to see that the Holy Spirit and your higher self are indeed one and the same. And when they come together in unison within you, you are once again granted access to the truth of you, the love that you are, the creation of Source. And there is no desire to any longer look externally for something that would give you peace and salvation. For everyone to know, and for you to know that there is only one truth. The truth of you is that eternal love. So forgive all, beloved. Let all be a mirror of an aspect of you. An aspect of you that lives and abides in peace, that looks for salvation and finds it within, that grants forgiveness and sees all through the eyes of innocence, particularly one's own soul. Let the words that are spoken to you, beloved, be the words of God. For all beings are indeed that same representation. And when you come across words that feel harsh, look within. Otherwise, you would allow them to be neutral. And you could move through them like you would a hand through water. But if you find, beloved ones, that you have encountered an aspect of you that feels pain, look for your own salvation and you shall find it. Salvation that lives within your heart, within your mind. And speak words of love, beloved. Speak words of forgiveness. For that is all that there is to do. Grant forgiveness and love to all beings. We love you. We wish you joy and happiness at each and every moment. It is easy to find these qualities, beloveds. Let go of all that you have known to be, the way that you have thought, the way that you have felt, the way that you have spoken. And allow yourselves instead, beloveds, to surrender. Surrender to the truth of you. And the truth of you is love. And indeed, reach out, and we will reach back to you. For know that we are on this path and we are on this journey together. We have come for you. Come with us. Blessings to you always, beloved ones. We shall speak with you again. Thanks for being here, everybody. Speak with you again tomorrow.